Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. This is Mikey, and today I'm in my parents' house. Decided to spend the weekend here. So I wanted to make a quick breakdown about the WealthFront banking company. Uh, you can use them for investing, for savings. They have a high yield savings account. They have an investing account that you can buy stocks and bonds with. That's managed all on your behalf. Some of the things I wanted to break down is how I find them useful and how I use them, some of the tools that they have available for you, the consumers, and what I currently have in each account with WealthFront. So, enough talking, let's get into it. So, when you first log into WealthFront, you're going to see the basic investing page. It's going to break down your net worth, your retirement, how much you're going to have at retirement, and a breakdown of how much money you'll have at each age bracket 30, 40, 50. If you see this graph here, you can just move your arrow across it and see how much net worth you'll have when you're 65, 70, 23. Of course, this all varies on what age you are compared to what age you're planning on retiring at. But I thought that was a very interesting tool that they have there. So after that, as you're scrolling down, it actually breaks down your accounts. The nice thing about this as well is you can link all your accounts on here and in one spot see how much cash you have available. Now, under the accounts, they have cash, investing, real estate, and liabilities. And using these four categories, it actually tells you what your net worth is today. So in cash, I have my WealthFront account here, my M1 Finance, my Robinhood, Navy Federal. I have actually quite a few accounts with Navy Federal. There's a reason behind it, something that I needed back in the past. I just have never gotten around to closing some of those accounts out. So in cash, I have currently 16K sitting around. Now investments, you can link any investment account you have. For the most part, they will link with WealthFront. So it linked up with my thrift savings plan, my M1 Finance, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade. No problem at all for any of these. Now, the only one it did have a problem with was my actual Webull account. I had to sit here and manually input roughly what I have as far as assets go, or cash amount, which is, again, a nice alternative to not being able to link an account. So if you're not able to link an account or you don't feel comfortable linking an account, you can actually manually input your assets and how much you have. So I know my Webull's around $3,000. I usually update it every $500 increase. So I should take a look at it probably next week and see where my Webull's at and update this. Next is my real estate. Sorry that this is blanked out. I didn't want to show my addresses on these properties. I do have people renting out these properties, or at least some of them. But these are the current net worth estimates. So for the top two, it actually uses Redfin to sit here and notify you what the net worth is. For the bottom one, this house is in Georgia, and Redfin doesn't give a guesstimate on how much the net worth is. So I just looked up some local comps and averaged it was worth around $90,000. I did it on the low end to kind of be on the safe side. Then is your liabilities. This is going to break down your credit cards and loans of any sort, car loans, personal loans, house loans. So currently I have no credit card debt. I do have a few more credit cards that aren't linked here, but I pay off all my credit cards immediately as soon as they have a balance. I don't really need to link them there. And then my actual loans. So for two of my loans, it actually linked to my Navy Federal account and showed up. My third loan is with Village, but it wouldn't link, so I manually put in how much I owe. This one I'll probably update every 6 months or so. All right, next we're going to go into the goals. Now, the goals is a very interesting part, I thought. I haven't seen this one any of the other banks that I bank with. You can set up different goals like wanting to buy a house, a trip that you intend to take. The most popular one on this is the retirement one. Now, if you scroll down, you can see that I already set up my retirement goal. Here it says I intend to retire at the age of 64. It factors in some stuff like how much money you're going to be spending when you retire, inflation, and other factors, and comes up with a number on how much you'll need at retirement. Again, take this with a grain of salt. It's just an estimate. None of these numbers are set in stone, but it's still an interesting tool to use. So it says I'll need 3 million by the time that I retire, and if I keep at it the way I'm going currently, I'll have 7.8 million by the time I'm 64. So if you scroll down, it asks you a few other questions like um, how much money you'd have if you save. You can change this number. I currently have it at $4,000 a month. That's my current goal, to save $4,000 a month. I could change this to $6,000 a month, and you see it changes from me having 7.8 to 9.7. Go down to $2,000 a month, and it actually brings it to 4.7. So just some interesting things. Then if you scroll down some more, it goes over how much you intend to spend when you retire. I personally like to go on the high end of all these things. So even though I'm a thrifty spender and my spending would probably be closer to $2,000 to $3,000 a month, though I don't know what the future holds, I am very conservative when it comes to my spending. I'd rather sit here and plan like if I needed to spend $5,000 a month. So for this option, I picked the Spendy retirement plan and click done, and you have your retirement plan. Now, I'm going to show you these other goals: buy a house, save for college, receive a windfall, expect a large expense. I just had one of those. My truck cost me $4,000 to fix. It's always good to plan to have money aside for everything. And take time to travel off. Now, I'm actually going to add one more goal, because my goal is for 2021 for me to buy a house. So I'm going to put here, buy a house. And it's going to ask a few questions. It's asking me currently how much do I intend to sell one of my houses, what my income is, what my net worth is. I am not intending to sell any of these properties for the next 10 years. My current household income, I believe, is actually less than this number here. COVID did have, the virus did have some negative effects on my income. But I'm going to leave that there for now. You can always change these numbers, and I'm going to let it break down to see what I can afford. So it has here that if I'm buying a $120,000 house, it says it's manageable, but that's saying if I was to buy it within the next 3 years. I intend to buy it in 2021, so we're going to change that number to buying in 1 year. Now it's saying it's unaffordable, saving $2,100 a month. If we increase that to $4,000 a month, then it still says it's unaffordable. It looks like I'm going to have to change some numbers around. Let's say if I was planning on purchasing in 2 years, because I wouldn't mind having to wait till 2022. Now it says I'm in a comfortable zone. Now I'm actually looking at about a $200,000 house. And get that. Once it's done loading, now it says this expense is manageable. So according to WealthFront, in 2 years, if I save consistently $4,000 a month, I will be able to buy a $20,000 house by the time it's 2022. I feel like I can expedite that process, hopefully, but this is still a really good goal to have. So I'm going to click done and go to my overview. And if you look here towards the left, you're going to see that I have two houses here that I intend to purchase. The second goal I just did as an example for you. Right now, I'm only trying to buy one more additional house. My goals focus on one thing at a time. But it's cool that it shows it here. You can set up to buy a house in by the time you're 40, by the time you're 20, by the time you're 30. Play with these numbers, change them around, see how it goes. If you ever want to look at any of your goals, there goes my retirement goal. I just click it and it pulls it up. I click on my house goal and it'll pull it up as well. So just some cool features. Now the last thing I wanted to go over, I have to go back to accounts, is how much money I have in WealthFront. So currently cash, I have $16K in a high yield savings account, though currently at a 0.35 interest rate or return rate, annual percentage rate. I have so many things in my mind, I apologize. I don't feel like that's a high yield savings account. In fact, that feels like a normal checking. If we scroll down, actually, my Robbins Federal Credit Union, their checking account has a higher return than my WealthFront high yield savings account. But I won't get into that right now. Then my other account with WealthFront is I actually opened up an investing account. Now, in order to open up the investing account, it's $500 initially that you have to throw in, and I threw an additional $100. So since I opened up the account has grown $11.34 since my initial deposit was the $500 plus the $100 after that. Now, the cool thing about WealthFront and its investing is it is hands-free. You sit here, you put in your money, you let them know what your risk tolerance is. If you look here, I put my risk as 10. I'm 30 years old. I don't intend to retire till I'm 60. So I figure with 30 years of playing around with investing my money, I can be more risky. So with my risky account, it broke it down to my stocks at a 35% of my total account. That's of the whole pie being 100. The foreign stocks at 31%, emerging markets at 20%, and dividend stocks at 10%. Now, it actually breaks down how it is invested currently. Again, you can change the risk level to something more moderate. It'll invest things more into dividend stocks, into bonds. It's all on your risk tolerance, and only invest in what you feel comfortable investing. Don't ever put money you need tomorrow. And pick the risk tolerance that fits best for you. You can always go in later and change this if you need to. At the top of the account history, it breaks down increases, decreases, how much money you had. If you look here, it shows that I had $500 initially. Then going a little bit more, there goes my deposit where it jumps up to $611, and even shows when I deposited the money. So my second deposit was actually on August 13th. My initial deposit was actually July 21st. So I did open up this account just last month. And that's everything. Now, I did want to say one more thing about the actual stock account. Now, yes, you can buy more things than stocks in there. As I showed you, it does dividend stocks, US stocks, bonds. It does cost you for them to manage your money in this stock account. But one of the really, really nice things that WealthFront is doing is if you use my link below, your first $5,000 that they manage on your behalf will be expense free. I thought that was a cool feature. I do intend to get this account to about $10,000. I'd say check out WealthFront, click the link below, see how you like it. Um, went over WealthFront today, the different tools, the uses that you can use it, how much I have invested in it. And if this provided value to you, wish you to click the like button and subscribe. Have a good day.